The battle began slowly swinging in the Allies' favor as Blücher's Prussian army arrived on the field in the southeast. Napoleon ordered Ney to capture La Haye-Saint, considering the farm to be the key to the Allied position. Ney saw 2 battalions withdrawing, and he formed the opinion that the Allied army was withdrawing. It was likely these movements were only casualties or prisoners moving to the rear. It was on this impetuous assumption that Ney launched the massive cavalry attack on the Allied line. Before the French could reach the Allied line, the infantry formed squares interlaced with artillery batteries. The French cuirassiers flowed around the squares but were unable to penetrate them. During the next 3 hours, some 12 cavalry attacks were made up to the ridge and back. Napoleon, while deprecating the initial attack as premature, felt bound to commit increasing numbers of cavalry to support the assault. Around 5:30, Ney launched the final cavalry assault. There were too many regiments, fresh, mingled, and exhausted. The attack failed yet again. Ney, far too late, launched the sustained infantry assault on La Haye-Saint, which was overwhelmed. By now, the Prussian assault in the southeast was seriously threatening the French position. Sure the Allied line was at a breaking point, Ney sent desperately to the Emperor for more troops to attack. Napoleon was at this point deploying the Guard to drive the Prussians back. Once this had been achieved, he resolved to launch the Guard at the main Allied line. By this time, Wellington had reorganized his forces, and the opportunity that Ney had, this time correctly identified, had passed. The Guard marched up La Haye-Saint for the attack. There Napoleon stood aside and left command to Ney. Ney led 5 battalions up the left side of the Brussels road. As they climbed the ridge, they came under fire from a curve of batteries assembled to meet them. A deserting French cavalry officer had warned of the Guard's advance. The Middle Guard threw back the British battalions of Halkett's brigade, but were assaulted by the Belgian and Dutch troops, who drove them back down the hill. The 3rd Regiment of Chasseurs approached the ridge. The Foot Guard stood, fired a volley, and charged with bayonet, driving the French Guard back down the hill. The last of the French Guard regiments, the 4th Chasseurs, came up in support as the British Guards withdrew back over the ridge. The 52nd Foot outflanked the French column, fired a destructive volley into the left flank, and attacked with the bayonet. The whole of the Guard was driven back down the hill and began a general retreat. Within 15 minutes, Wellington appeared on the skyline, waved his hat to give the signal for the general attack in pursuit of the French troops. The British, Belgian, Dutch, and German troops poured forward as the French retreat became a rout. 3 battalions of the Old Guard fought to the end to enable the Emperor to escape from the battlefield as the Allied troops, including the Prussians, closed in. The Guard dies but does not surrender. 6 weeks after Waterloo, the Allies reached Paris and forced Napoleon's second abdication. His final years were spent in exile in St. Helena, a desolate island off the coast of Africa. In 1821, Napoleon Bonaparte died.